with people. Once this popped off, I went on. I said, "Hey, have you considered the possibility that there was no shot, that this was staged by Trump?" And they fucking shouted me out the room. Yes. I came back to the same room, and these guys are having a space about that today. And I'm like, it hurts, but I'm sort of starting to get it. But I think what I wanted to do was just run down the timeline of the events. If you're convinced about like what's happening now, that's fine, Sam. But the people need to hear. So 5:10 p.m. Crooks, the shooter, is identified as a person of interest. 5:10. 5:30, they spot him with a rangefinder. I have one right there. I'm a bow hunter. This is an unusual object. It's like half of like a, not a telescope, but like half of a binocular. And then you press a button and it gives you in a target how far something is in terms of yards, feet, if you have a good one, inches. This is not something you bring outside unless you're hunting. And the Secret Service said, "Oh, a rangefinder, cool, right this way, sir." And then he goes and we see him in video. He's just walking through the lawn. Nobody gives a fuck. This is starting at 5:10. They're like, this dude's interesting. He's ugly. He's weird looking, bad physique. Interesting. 5:52. Crooks is spotted on the roof by the Secret Service. Okay, you've been there for 40 minutes now, and all of a sudden you're on the roof. Let's also stop for a second and talk about how he got on the roof. There was a ladder. So he bought his own ladder somehow, right? But now the FBI director is saying, they asked him, they said, so he used the ladder to climb on the roof? They said, well, he had a ladder. And they said, but did he use it? And they go, we don't think he used it. So now you're telling me he parkoured on the roof with a gun. Okay. All right, whatever. If you believe it, so far, fine. 6:02, Trump takes the stage. At 6:12, Crooks fires the first shot. So he's up there for 10 minutes. At 5:52, they saw him on the roof. He's up there for 22 minutes.
How long has it been now since he's been identified as a person of interest? This has been like what?
Over an hour. An hour. To the point of the shots, it's over an hour. And they just kind of let this go on. It's like, and people will say, yeah, well, they wanted him to be assassinated. And it's like, I don't know. Then some bullets whizzed by. Clint Russell tweeted about it, where in the building underneath Crooks, there's now video where you can see a muzzle flash coming from the ground floor building. So that's in the timeline there at like 6:12 when the shots were whizzing by Trump's head, and it was huge. They were from an AR. That's an impressive gun, right? It's just whizzing by my head, RFK. The whole thing is just kind of it plays as a comedy if you're like able to detach yourself from it.
This, from my view, it plays like a movie. We've been saying this on Nephilim Death Squad, and it wasn't our own thoughts. It was really just having on guests who brought us interesting information that we found compelling. But we said that whatever you're seeing with Donald Trump, it's certainly my contention that politics at the highest level is theater. That's what I believe. I believe that we're watching theater unfold before our eyes. And with Donald Trump, I find him to be a very suspicious character. In fact, part of what I hope to do here today is highlight some of the more strange things surrounding Donald Trump, and maybe we can create some reasonable doubt as to, to enforce the fact that what you're seeing, you shouldn't just take at face value. But what I see is this massive comeback story. We said on Nephilim Death Squad that Trump was going to face unfair persecution for a long time. We even suggested on multiple episodes, and we dedicated entire episodes to it, that he was going to survive a headshot, not survive an assassination attempt or that he was going to get assassinated. We said he was going to survive a headshot. So when this came to pass, this was like, wow, this is like we've done 3 episodes on this topic already. We dedicated 2 hours a pop to this topic already each time, so 6 hours in total. This whole thing is playing like the world's best comeback story. Even if you don't want to believe that it's theater, that's certainly what's happening here. I was dragged. I lost like 400 or 500 followers.
I'm like doubting Thomas. I'm like, I need to put my finger into the wound of his ear at this point.
Look at that, dude. Look at that.
Photo. It's strange because it's like, what does this mean? He's not even making an attempt at putting a blemish there.
Which gets in the nonlinear warfare. Like, he is adding to the divide and conquer.
Dude, but I'm an asshole for speculating, right?
You know what it feels like? Me and David have been saying, I feel like we're getting like Damar Hamlin. It's the same thing.
100%. And the big thing about Damar Hamlin, that was simply done to get conspiracy theorists to jump on it. Then you parade this guy back out, and then you get the people who are begging for a reason not to believe in conspiracies. You just gave them a reason not to believe in conspiracies.
Close up there, but I think that this entire thing is, I mean, look, whatever you want to say about the conspiracy theory side of it, if he took a shot and there's no discernible scab, then maybe you could make an argument like, oh, well, he didn't get hit.
Like all
Where
of this
did all
stuff,
that blood
guys,
come from?
All of the stuff, like as I'm outlining the absurdity of the sequence of events, all this stuff lined up, all the way to the ear pillow at the RNC and everyone copying it.
Everybody
and then
wearing the ear pillows?
Then he just fucking takes it off, and it's just like nothing. And this is all, if you're a conspiracy theorist and you're on the wrong side of this, like a lot of people were on the wrong side of COVID when it came out, right? I was on the right side, thank God. I figured it out fairly quickly. But it's one of those, it's a big event that's going to be used dangerously against, as it's going to be used as a weapon from people that we're allies with right now. But anyway, when you see these like little strange events all piling up, as a conspiracy theorist, you have to look at it and go, this is quite alarming. I don't know what happened here now.
Well,
I
how
think
about the fact that the next day he's golfing? It's like he doesn't even miss a beat.
It's strange.
It doesn't,
strange.
like, dude, I've never met anybody that got shot in his head that would be like business as usual.
Did you know our everybody's favorite satanic witch, Marina Abramovich? You're familiar with her, right?
Yeah.
The spirit cooking
yeah,
queen.
that stuff that just came out.
Well, she called him the magician that was going to awaken the world. There's something, he plays some really strange role, an integral role in, like, I think what kind of is like the biggest conspiracy of our lifetimes, maybe in the history of conspiracies. But
that would make the leftists right, because I can't understand,
but not completely right, not right the right way.
But here's where they're right, like, and not just leftists, but like your family member that just has this distaste for Trump for no reason. It's like he's been gone for 4 years, and they're like, yeah, but I can't stand him.
Yes.
I have this taste in my mouth about him. Maybe their fucking radars went up when they saw this guy, and they were like, something about him, this uncanny valley, because otherwise I can't explain the reaction that people have to the guy.
But since it's void of logic, we push back against it. And it's like,
and now we live in this kind of don't know if we're coming or going, because now the left is the conspiracy theorists and the right are pushing establishment narratives.
Hey, it's sorcery, right? We just said Marina Abramovich calls him the magician that's going to wake up the world. What does MAGA mean? MAGA means magician in like 4 different languages. That's what MAGA means. MAGA means in Latin and in Greek, magician and sorceress. In Japanese, it means to confuse, to distort, and to complicate. It's like somehow all this sorcery is right there. It's right in your face. Even Donald means world ruler. It's bizarre. Like this, it's like it's in your face in a million different ways, which I think is part of the game. It's like there is something unfolding here. You know, everybody talks about revelation of the method. Why is there so many breadcrumbs everywhere? And I talked to Donut once, and I think he said it the best. It's like, because if they tell you in enough ways, then you're complicit. You're complicit. You're consenting. And if it's like a sin, you're complicit in the sin. I think that's exactly what it is.
Revelation of the method that they God tell you for karma reasons. I think. Well, I wouldn't say.
Sam, remind me later. I'm gonna give you a link where you could link your Rumble chat into the StreamYard studio. That would probably help you if you do lives.
Oh yeah, I do need to do that because they're not here. But I would love to do that. So it's like, yeah. So you have this whole thing like Revelations 3:3, and I saw one of his head, as it were, wounded to death, and his deadly wound was healed, and all the world wandered after the beast. Like, I get it, dude. I'm a Christian. I know you guys don't want to believe I'm a Christian. I am a Christian.
A Christian. I'm not a Christian. That whole thing. He's wearing a yarmulke. He's kissing the wall in Israel. He's receiving the crown of Jerusalem from the Israel Heritage Foundation.
He's on a shekel, dog.
He's literally next to one of their messianic figures, King Cyrus. He's on one of their minted coins, and it's my understanding that the proceeds from that coin go towards building the third temple, or going to a fund that's going to be used to build the third temple. So I mean, Of course, there's another weird messianic figure because people are suspecting he's the Antichrist. I don't think that they're that far off from the mark. He's getting wrongly persecuted. Even the protocols of the elders of Zion talk about creating a messianic figure and having his events mirror the persecution of Christ, which is fascinating because of the way that Trump has been unjustly persecuted in the public eye, and now he's had his life attempted on. And I think that creates such an emotional story that people put all their critical thinking to the side, and they just go, this is our guy. Look at this. It's a good story.
Becoming a trauma deliverance system.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. I think we're also going to see the building of the third temple soon, especially when you take into consideration his relationship with Israel. I mean, have you ever heard the song Super Trump? We don't have to play it, but the Israel Boys Choir, they sing about Donald Trump. They treat him like he is a messiah. Like we said, he's on this coin next to King Cyrus. Yes, exactly. Order out of chaos. And so one of the things that I think, especially considering we just had the red heifer prophecy get fulfilled, and then I think
are those fat chicks dead? Did they kill?
No. What happened is it was creating too much hype, for lack of a better term, and so those rabbis that were in charge of burning that heifer and then sanctifying the tools with its ashes to build the third temple started to have to operate in a way that wasn't so public, because the government of Israel became afraid that there was going to be obviously there was an element of the Hamas attacks where they said to some degree this was because of the red heifer prophecy.
We can cast some reasonable doubt on some of his actions, because what it looks like to me, like I said, when you have this Jew buildup and those sentiments are like right there, and then you have this strong man coming and you have Weimar conditions, everything is set to believe the narrative. Yes. And it's all set. I've been saying for a long time, it feels like we're just going to repeat that cycle. But like you said, Sam, Germany got fucking wrecked. Germany was destroyed after they repeated the cycle. It was fun. Sure, you got to persecute the people who you thought were your enemies for a little while, and things might have been okay because you maybe diminished some bad people or got rid of some population. But how did it end up? It's not going to end up good for you.
Here, and they just poisoned our institutions. But we're kind of seeing we're talking about how this is theater and the stage is getting set. Even this Olympic ceremony, I think, is designed to do just that. It's meant to make us fed up. They're putting it right in our face. Do you remember back in the day, Sam, where it was like people being a conspiracy theorist? I've been one since I'm 16 years old, and it felt like I was alone. It felt like nobody else can see all the weird shit that I was seeing, and it didn't make me smart, just made me like schizo. But I don't think human nature has changed. I don't think that people can suddenly see where they couldn't see before. I think they're now allowing you to see. They want you to see the corruption, how disgusting everything is. They want to show you the ceremonies at the Olympic Games. They want to, laugh in the face of Christianity, mock the Last Supper, all this stuff, whatever. They want to drag out Dionysus and trannies and all this crazy shit. But they want you to be fed up. And then they want you to look for a strong man to come and solve the problem finally. I think that's what these last maybe 5 or 6 years have really been about. It's like they've been boiling the pot to the point where we can't take it anymore, and then they're going to give us the solution. It's Albert Pike, right? Morals and Dogma. When the people, we will provide, how's the quote go from Albert Pike? When the people want a hero, we will provide one for them. I'm paraphrasing. It's something to that extent. Who are they sacrificing children to?
Here's something that's really like disturbing. So in the Bible, it talks about the Antichrist, when he recovers from this head wound, he comes back. And some people we've spoken to said that he doesn't come back quite human. He comes back as like something else, like an entity inside of him. He's the shell of whatever this is that's going to come and now rule and present itself as the king of the world. We have to get comfortable with the idea of these things being physical or being out in the open. Like we talk about Satanism and things like that, but we're about to get really comfortable with all of these entities, because in the end times, that's what the Bible is talking about, man. It's like that 3.5 year mark, right around there, shit starts to get really weird. But for it to get there, we would have had to accepted this a while ago in the cultural narrative. So that's what we're shifting to right now. As we're talking about did Trump get shot, but this is all in the backdrop, and it's freaking me out, to be honest.
nothing for me. I'm not going to allow the government to get into people's life and regulate what they can and cannot do. That is not me. I'm not going to live in a place of hate. That's not how I'm going to operate. So when it comes to Trump, when it comes to Camel Toe Harris, just know these are just pawns or they're sorcerers, and they're manipulating you. And you could either fall for it and then start hating your friend. Like, I have friends who stop talking to their family members. What are you doing? What are you doing? How is that winning? How's that being open-minded? How's that being loving? I don't understand that. You hate, so you hate the ones you're supposed to love? Don't understand that, dog. Don't understand that.